What's happening, L2G community? How's it going out there in your neck of the woods? All right, for this week's video, thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about a major struggle that I've been having the last couple months, and that's weight gain. I have gained weight. I've gained 7 pounds and well on my way to 10 pounds, and that just freaks me out. If you guys knew where I came from, as far as weight and body image and all that stuff, you would know that freaks me out. And you probably don't know where I come from with this, because I just don't talk about it. The only person I talk about it with is my wife, Susie, and probably not to the degree that I'm going to talk about it right now. And the reason why I want to talk about my struggles is because I know that when we talk about our struggles, it helps other people with their struggles, maybe somebody who's struggling with the same thing. And so I'm going to be vulnerable a little bit, try not to edit this video, try not to stop it, and just talk raw with you. I know probably you guys are thinking, oh, come on, Devin, you're a personal trainer, you're a sports nutritionist, you don't, why are you talking about this? You're not obese, you're not, there are other people who struggle harder with this. I don't know. This is a real daily struggle for me. So let's talk about it. A lot of you maybe know or do not know that I used to weigh a lot more, 30 pounds more on this tiny frame. That puts me in the obese category. So for me to gain 7 pounds and then on my way to 10 pounds, that's a third of the weight that I've lost, just freaks me out. I mean, really freaks me out. But it also puts me in freaks me out. Puts me in a very dangerous mindset. So let me tell you a little bit about my history. I mean, I've had, and I don't think guys talk about this very much. I know women have talked about it more, but I've had eating disorders as a teenage boy, major body image issues as a teenage boy, still have body image issues. Every day I think about food and my relationship with food. And so now that it's just kind of creeped up on me, this 7 pounds. And so I just kind of want to talk about that and what I'm doing to put a stop to it and try to reverse it. So let me just tell you a little bit what I think about dieting. I think dieting is bad. I think we're in a diet culture here in the Western United States, and I believe that it oppresses people who don't match its supposed picture of health, dieting. So I'm not a fan of dieting. Being in this field, I know that 90% of people who diet regain the weight within the next 5 years, and 2/3 of people gain even more weight. So I'm not a fan of dieting. I'm a fan of intuitive eating, which is, based on eating on what the body needs. To recognize when you're hungry and when you're full, to enjoy the experience of eating, finishing meals feeling content, and doing away with the shame and guilt that comes around eating and dieting. Babies do this. So if you think about it, babies practice this. They instinctively cry when they're hungry. They turn away from food when they're full. They seek out the pleasure and satisfaction in food. They don't fuss with how they look, body-wise. There are no rules in their mind on eating. So I really have worked hard to honor my hunger and give myself full permission to eat when I'm hungry. And to approach my struggle with food, I have my notes here. You guys know I'm a note taker. From a place of compassion, to approach my struggles that I have with food from a place of compassion rather than criticism. And this makes it easier to make positive changes. So with all that in mind, you know how I feel about food and where I've come from with my weight. I found here I am in this place of I've gained 7 pounds. And so I want to also talk about some of the excuses I've used with this weight gain, like almost like the excuse of, oh, the dryer shrunk my clothes. Like, you know, I start making up these excuses of, oh, well, I'm 55 years old. This happens with age, or like I even went to the degree of, oh, when I got these vaccination shots, that changed my body. And all of a sudden I'm just retaining weight. These are the excuses that I'm coming up with in my head. But my vaccination shots happened 3 years ago. So it's almost like, I don't know if it's like, but I hear this in the field, like, oh, this is the baby weight. When I had a baby, I just, this is the weight that I gained. And then, oh, well, the baby is 3 years old. So I really have to check myself. And I decided to do something that I have not done in a very long time, not since I've lost the weight. So I had to think about, well, I got to get back to basics, and I do not want to justify this weight gain, because once I start justifying, I guess that was the word I was looking for, making excuses or justifying the weight gain, then for me, it gets in a dangerous place, and then before you know it, I'm gaining another 10 and then another 10. So here's what I did. I just went back to basics, and I had to start measuring some of my food. I hate that, but I do feel that it has a place when we're trying to lose weight. Just had to recalibrate, just get back to basics, start measuring my food, stop the mindless eating, and see what happens. So I am not a big fan of measuring foods. It just, like I said earlier, but I do think it has its place when we're trying to get back on track, or when we're trying to just learn portion control. The only thing I measure is my sugar, just simply because in the Western diet, these companies sneak in sugar everywhere, and I know how sugar wreaks havoc on the body, and our labeling out there just sneaks in things that we're not aware of. So I am a big fan of reading labels and counting sugars until we know where our sugars are coming from. But anyway, back to measuring food. So I started doing it. I started measuring my foods. I started measuring my peanut butter use, my hummus use, my portion control, and just had to get back on track and see where that would lead me. I know, like one of the things I started to justify was, oh, well, you're 55 years old, this just happens. But I also know as a trainer that that's not true. You can be healthy and fit your whole life. And so I had to bring those thoughts back into mind and start measuring my foods again. And so here we are. I waited to do this video until about a week and a half or 2 weeks of measuring my foods. 2 weeks will be tomorrow, actually, but already 2 weeks in, I have lost 3 of the 7 pounds. Also, one of the things that happens when we're home is I'm not as active as when we're out on the road and traveling and hiking and all that. So I just kind of increased my activity level back to somewhat to where we are on the road. It'll never be as much as we are on the road, but I have to have this balance, because we're going to be, working 3 months out of the year in a sedentary place. So I have to find this balance. And so just got a little bit more active, started to reel my food in a little bit, because when we're here in sedentary, the refrigerator is right there and it's easy to gain food. I know my relationship with food. I am an emotional eater. Like I said, I've had eating disorders, body image issues, and so it's, much like, not much like, I don't know if it's much like, I hate to compare things to other things out there, but like if the food is right there and I've had eating disorders, it's much like, or not much like, similar to, I would imagine, if you put any type of addiction in front of an addict, alcohol, anything like that. It's just more tempting and easier to get to. And for me, I've succumbed to that. And so I digress. Let me just reel it back in. So I just, had to just, come back to basics and believe what I know, that you can be fit and healthy your whole life, and that kind of bring my eating back to intuitive eating, recognizing when I'm hungry and honoring that, and eating when I'm hungry before my stomach really, really growls, because that's almost like getting into starving yourself, to turn away when I'm full, to enjoy the process of eating, seek out the pleasure and satisfaction in food. Try not to fuss about how I look, that if I stick to these basics, everything else will fall in line. So anyway, wanted to share that with you. I'm really struggling with this. But I know what works for me, and hopefully this helps with anybody who might be struggling with food out there, or struggling with anything else. Just be vulnerable about it. Try to show yourself compassion with whatever your struggles are, rather than criticism. And I feel that will lead you to making positive changes. So if anybody's struggling with food out there, just kind of reel it back in. I'm not a big fan of measuring, but until you just kind of know your portion controls, and just kind of realign with, coming from a place of compassion, not criticism, that's what's worked for me. So it's amazing what 2 tablespoons of peanut butter are, rather than just scooping it out and spreading it on everything, because I love peanut butter. Anyway, I hope this helped. I hope this conversation helped. If anybody is struggling with food out there and wants to talk about it, just reach out to me or leave a comment. I am a trainer and sports nutritionist, and maybe we can go through this struggle together. But I'm hopefully on the other side of this, because this other thing I've learned is, this eating disorder, I have to keep it in check, it's just a lifelong struggle, as I'm sure a lot of our struggles are, and just a daily thing for me. But I've lost the 3 of the 7 pounds, and I'm going to keep doing it until I get down to where I need to be, and just show myself compassion and rather than criticism. All right. Not sure what happened. The video just cut off when I was editing it. It clipped off the tail end of that. So let me just sign off. I enjoyed this conversation with you. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. And share it with somebody else. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, L2G, much love. Peace out.